Hello there and welcome to Your Life Rocks, the place for working Christian moms to find tips and inspiration to create more balance in your life. And today I'm going to share with you a special project that I did for my two boys to really help the holiday season be, a little bit more special for them, because let's face it, it's been a rough year and we could all use a little bit more special. Now, if this is your first time finding our channel, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. Please make sure that you hit subscribe so you don't miss any of our videos, and check out our playlist. We have videos for you to help you grow in your faith, marriage, parenting, health, home, career, finances, and friends and fun. And we have a couple extra playlists as well, including one for our podcast called Redefining Balance. Now, if you've already subscribed, please make sure that you share this video so your other working mom friends can learn these tips as well. Now, today I'm going to share with you a little bit of a craft project. I am not a crafter, so I'm just going to say that first and foremost. This is not my jam, but I felt like my kids really needed something special, and I had this idea, and so I thought, you know what, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to share it with you. Now, typically around Christmas time, I get my boys an advent calendar. And in years past, we've done Lego calendars, we've done candy calendars, we've done all kinds of different things. And you know what? They all kind of are exciting for like the first week, and then it kind of loses a little bit of its excitement. And I get to the point where I have to remind my kids, did you open up the box? And I really wanted to do something that they would be excited for each day, that I would be excited for each day, and would really make it a meaningful and of a really crazy year. And so I feel like we have kind of captured that with our homemade advent calendar. It is very homemade, but it's all about bringing experiences. You know, when this year came about and we had all of these different setbacks and closures and the pandemic and just all of the things, right? I felt like we were having experiences taken away from us. And so I wanted to just bring more experiences in for my family, and so this is what we're doing. Now I'm going to share with you step by step on how I created this experience advent calendar and how you can do the same. Now you can also find all of these steps outlined in our holiday lifestyle guide. You can find that by going to yourliferocks.com. I will link to it down below, or you can download the Your Life Rocks mobile app right from the App Store, and in there you'll have all of our lifestyle guides, some extra planning tools, and so much more. Okay, so step number one in this process was really making a list of all of the ideas, all of the experiences that we could do in a 24-day chunk of time this December. Now, let me tell you, making this list was certainly not easy. I mean, I thought it would be pretty simple to come up with 24 things. It's a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. So I put down all of the ideas I could think of, just a big brain dump list, and then I went to my husband and said, what ideas do you have? Help me fill out this list. And honestly, I kept the list live in my planner for probably a good week and just continued adding things to it as I thought of ideas, my husband thought of ideas, my kids suggested things even though they didn't know what they were suggesting them for. You know, just when they were like, oh, it'd be great if we did this. And I thought, that's a great idea. Write that down in the notebook. And so it took a little bit to kind of gather through all these ideas. Now, once I had the ideas, I needed to edit them down because, like I said, some of them just are not possible right now given the pandemic or shutdowns that we're all facing. And so we really had to go through and edit that list to make it make sense for us. Now, once I had the list done, then it was time for step number two, which was gathering all of the supplies. So supply number one, the most important thing to have, was our actual advent calendar where we're going to be putting all of these things. Now, I honestly first were thinking things like a scavenger hunt or envelopes, but I really wanted to do something that had like the cute little boxes. We used to do something similar to that when the kids were really, really small, and then through several moves, we ended up getting rid of the box. So I needed to get a new one. So I went to Amazon and I found this one. Now, I love it because it lights up here on the top. It's wooden and it fits within the budget. Now, this one's a little bit wonky, I'll be completely honest. Some of the drawers, I don't know if you can tell, but they're not all perfectly straight, but it fit within the budget, and so that's what matters. Now, there's some amazing ones on Amazon that I found from creators, people who make them. Some of them are into the hundreds of dollars and they're gorgeous, but I will link to this one down below, and you can feel free to look at the suggested advent calendars that they have that go along with it. But this was certainly number one, was how was I going to deliver on this experience advent calendar? And so I needed to get this. Then I needed to get paper, ribbon, and labels. Now the labels that I ended up going with were the Avery, you can see right there, the Avery 58-163. And the reason I went with these is because of purely the size. So I don't know if you can see, but on here, the size, there we go, of the label that's the actual size. So it was a good size for kind of what I wanted it to be. So I wanted to be able to print out the activity onto the label, put it on a pretty piece of paper, wrap it up with the ribbon, and put it in the box. So essentially, it would look like that in the box. So they could take that out, open it up, and see what adventure awaits for them on that particular day. Now you can simply just buy all of the supplies right on Amazon, have it delivered, and then that way you don't even have to worry about it. Again, this whole project is meant to be simple and not overwhelming. I did go to Michael's and get the paper and the labels, and to be honest, I kind of regretted it because I ended up with paper that I didn't necessarily love. It wasn't quite what I was looking for, but it's what they had. It was Christmas colored, but it was a little bit stiffer than I wanted to have it for rolling. So this is kind of the paper. It's like a foily red and green that I got for this project. Now the next step in this project was to actually create the labels. Now the thing that I like about labels is that you can go to Avery.com and you can put in the number assigned to the labels that you have, and it comes up with a template. So it just makes it really easy for printing on. Now I could have just written on a piece of paper and rolled up the piece of paper, but I wanted something that looked nice and was easy. And for me, it's easier to type than it is to write down. So I went ahead and went the label route. Feel free to go any route that you want if you wanted to replicate this in your own family. But for me, I really like the idea of having a pretty piece of paper and a pretty ribbon and something that's typed out. Now, the other cool thing about using Avery is that they do have some other templates. So again, the ones that I chose have like this Christmas lights. I don't know if you can really see, it's a little bit blurry, but they have like this little Christmas light decor on the bottom. So it made it really kind of fun and festive way of doing that. So once you have all of the labels typed up, then you're going to want to print them out. And while those are printing, you can move on to step number 4, which is prepping the paper, cutting the paper into strips. Now I borrowed a paper cutter from my work, just because it made it easy. To be completely honest, I first tried with scissors, like folding the paper and then cutting along the seam. Not good. So I decided to borrow our paper cutter that we had at work. I brought it home, got permission, brought it home, cut it, and brought it back to work the next day. It literally took me like 2 minutes to do. Super, super simple. And I didn't go with perfectionism. I mean, you can kind of tell here, these pieces of paper, I don't know if you can see, they're not exactly the same. See how this one's shorter than this one? I don't care. Again, it's a simple project. It's not supposed to be perfect. Don't make yourself get all stopped up on things being perfect. It's just supposed to be fun. So, okay, now we're getting into the important steps. Are you ready? Okay, so you have your list of all of your ideas, which by the way, I'm gonna put my list inside of our lifestyle guide under the parenting section. I'll have all of the steps for this whole entire project there. You can get it inside the app, or you can go to yourliferocks.com. I will link to it down below so you can get the lifestyle guide delivered to your inbox. But essentially it's going to be under parenting. I didn't want to put all of them on this video because, well, my kids will find them. And I didn't want them to ruin their surprise. And so I will have that for you inside the lifestyle guide if you're looking for some inspiration on some of the things that we picked. But so you have your list, you have your supplies, you've made your labels, you've prepped the paper. Now it's time to get serious. So when you have all of that done, you're gonna put the labels onto the paper and then sort them into piles. This is where it gets a little bit serious, is because I went ahead and sorted by things that we cook, things that we're gonna be doing out, and things that we're gonna be doing at home. Now you can add other piles to that too. I almost made a pile of like quick and easy, and then longer ones, because let's face it, there are some days that you're like, okay, we got to make some fun happen in the next 15 minutes. And then there are other days where you can do something fun all day long. And all of those days are very different. So you want to kind of make those piles that work best for your family. But I did the ones that we can do at home, ones that we can do outside the house, and the ones that require cooking. Because I don't want to cook every day. I'm not the best cook. I don't love cooking, but my kids do. So those were some of the things that were on the list. So as you're putting the labels on the paper, make sure you sort them into those piles, because then that brings us into step number 6, which is to bring out your calendar and look at those different piles and actually assign them to the day. So you can see, for example, on the back of this strip of paper, it has a 22. I don't know if you can see that. It's pretty blurry. But this happens on December 22nd. So then that way you can kind of assign, knowing what days you have off of work, what days you might be having other activities planned or different things happening going on. So you can kind of put these pre-described events in places that you know that they're going to be most successful for you, most successful for your family. Think about things like your energy level, as well as other commitments that you have, because let's say, for example, you know, like Friday nights when you get home from work, you are wiped out. That is a great time to have a family movie night. That's a great experience for a Friday. So really be thinking about the things that kind of fit in with the ebb and flow of your family and what you feel like is going to be best. Then assign them to the calendar, write the little number on the back so you remember which box they need to go in, and then you can roll them up, tie them with a bow. And then you're done. You can just put them in the box and be done. There's 7 simple steps. Maybe some of them aren't super simple, but pretty simple steps that you can follow if you want to create an experience of your own. And you know, honestly, you don't need the box. You don't need anything fancy like the paper or anything like that. You can just handwrite it all down. But I think the steps of brainstorming, putting them together, and assigning them to the calendar are really important steps. If you take none of those 7 steps, but just those 3, I think that that is really going to help to set you up for success if you want to create a fun experience for your kids as they end the year and just to really celebrate the reason of this season. Let's not forget, it's been a hard year, but Jesus has brought us through it. He's been by our side the entire time, the ups and the downs. He's maybe taught us a few lessons, maybe brought us some patience, been working on some hard issues. And so although it's easy to look at the whole year and be like, it's been rough, let's celebrate this season that our Savior came for us and that He's been with us. He has not left us or abandoned us this entire year, even though it's been a little nutty. Now, again, I am not a crafty person at all. So if you are a crafty person and you watched this video and you saw some things, you're like, oh my gosh, it would have been so much easier if she would have done X, Y, or Z, please put it down in the comments because I would love to learn from you. And if you are doing something fun for your kids, then we want to hear from you as well. So let us know in the comments below. And until next time, keep building a life that rocks. Bye.